Just getting low in the overgrown road that we follow.
My name is Mimi Bill. I'm from here in Sedona, and I was in the class of 2010. I guess growing up, my parents wanted me to go to a more academically advanced school than Sedona Red Rock High School, and so they always kind of had their eye on Verde Valley. And then as I got closer to high school, the school was getting better and better, and looking at bringing in the IB program, which my mom really loved, and she'd done a lot of research on it and actually tried to bring it to Sedona Red Rock High previously. So when that was happening, they were really interested in it, and when I came out to kind of tour the school, I just fell in love. My first impression of VVS, I guess it's funny because I'd heard of it my whole life living in Sedona, and it was always kind of the hippie school with kids that wore pajamas and went into town. And so I guess my impression was that it was really relaxed and different than a public school. And when I came out here, I just felt such a sense of community. I remember when I toured the school, I got to sit in on a dance class and participate actually in Brady, and immediately people were introducing themselves, and I felt like I already had friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Ooh, VVS has influenced everything. This is going to be a hard one to get through without crying. VVS has influenced everything I've done in my life. One of the biggest things in my life since VVS is that I have become an adventure guide, and I did that for 4 years or 5 years, and I've traveled all around the world. This is funny. And all of that started here. Just knowing I was part of a global community and having friends from everywhere. I think just everything about who I've become started here at VVS. So freshman year here at VVS, I went on a field trip. I think it was called VVS Mountain, and it was organized by Jen and Septimus Bean. And we went to a farm down in southeastern Arizona. It was called VVS Mountain Farm, and basically lived there for 2 weeks and didn't leave the farm. Didn't eat any food that came from off of the farm. And it's run by a guy called Peter Bigfoot. I don't know if he's still there or what's happening with the farm now, but he was a character. And he and his partner Bella ran this farm. They raised poultry and had fields, just massive fields of all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and every day you started your day eating a big pile of collard greens that had been boiled, and then we learned how to make lots of tinctures using native plants, and so we would go out into the desert, and Peter had actually done several treks through the desert where he didn't bring any food or water with him and survived for up to a month just off of foraging. And so he knew, everything about what you could eat and what could be used for what. So we learned all about that, and basically had a lot of time to get to know everyone that was on the field trip with us and be introspective about life and what we wanted out of life and what was important and all that kind of stuff. So that was my first one. Second one I went to was Puerto Libertad. So I went to Mexico to a school, or to like visit a town that was on the coast. And we combined that also with doing some work with no más muertes, no more deaths, and along the border, and learning about border issues and that kind of stuff. And we lived with host families and got to know all the students down there really, really well. And then those students would come here and visit us at VVS during the year as well. So it was really fun because we would make friends and then get to see them again, and practice Spanish and eat amazing Mexican food and all of that. So that was awesome. And then junior year, I did an outdoor Arizona field trip, which was led by Andy Gill and Paul Hansen and someone else, I forget. And we did some backpacking, lots of rock climbing, and we also did some more work with No More Deaths, No Más Muertes down by the border. And it was kind of just a big mishmash of outdoor stuff all over Arizona, lots of camping, and that was really awesome too, especially having teachers who were so competent and knowledgeable, and especially in like the rock climbing area. That was amazing to get to go to some of the places that we went to and climb some of the things that we did. It was really cool. I remember, because I was one of the sort of older, more experienced students on that trip, me and two others who were kind of in my same age range got to climb, I think it was called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And it was down, I don't even remember exactly where we were, somewhere down sort of near Tucson. And it was like a multi-pitch climb, and I'd never done that before, and one of our instructors was leading just the three of us, and it took us like all day, and it was just amazing. Like, I've never been up that high before or since, just on a rock exposed, and that was really, really cool on that field trip. And then senior year, I went on, it was like a seniors field trip. I think that's one of the only times that VVS has actually let there be a trip where there wasn't a mix of classes and like grade levels. So it was only seniors, and we went to California and did a road trip along the coast, and did a lot of different stuff. We did some marine biology stuff, we camped everywhere, and that one was a lot of fun. I've got a really clear memory of me and like four of my really close friends. One night we were all sort of, the whole group was camping, but our teacher gave us permission to hike up to the top of this like ledge that was overlooking the ocean and camp up there. And that was, waking up there with them was a good memory. There are several teachers that definitely come to mind that had the most influence on me while I was at VVS. And that would be, one of them would be Andy Gill. And that's awesome because he's still here and I get to come visit him when I come back. And then Jen Bean. I actually knew her before I came to VVS because her daughter Alex, who was like 5 years younger than me or something, she danced with me in Sedona. And so she was like my little buddy. Like, I took her under my wing kind of at dance class and stuff. And so then when I came to VVS, and Jen was one of my teachers, and she was actually my advisor throughout all the 4 years I was here as well. And she was just always such an amazing source of support, and I still keep in touch with her today. And then Lauren and John Kelly as well, I think were really big role models, just kind of, because they weren't so much older than me that I couldn't relate to them. Like, they were pretty young when they started here, and I was older as well when they started. I think I was in my junior or senior year, so could kind of connect to people who were past that high school stage. Like, I was looking past it what am I going to do after this? What's life going to be like? And they both came from a background of outdoor guiding and adventure education and that kind of stuff. And so I think that getting to know them and having them as mentors was also really powerful. And then, I mean, there's so many more. Like, I could name people for hours, but a lot of my friends at VVS, I think, also really impacted, I mean, definitely the experience, but also, like, what was gained out of it and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I don't know if I should name people, but probably like Allie Marisich and Hannah Allers, Sam Hansen. I had a Russian exchange student while I was here, my freshman year, and she came to VVS through Rotary in Sedona, but she was actually she was a student here. She lived here on campus, but during holidays and everything, she would come with us. And she definitely had a big impact because I had never met anyone from Russia before that, and now I've visited her in Russia twice, and since then she's lived abroad in Norway, and I visited her there, and we've met up around the world. And I think, especially because I was a freshman at the time, it was really impactful having a Russian sister and having that, like, other perspective so close. Oh gosh, there's so many incredible memories all over campus. I love the chapel where we are right now. Of course, it's like that view is iconic. But I think the quad is my favorite place because it's just the heart of the campus. And I have so many memories of just lying there on sunny days with friends and faculty, kids playing around and slacklining and just laughing and being with everyone who we loved. I feel like I always, to kind of explain the soul of VVS to someone who's never heard of it, I always talk about the traditions. Because I think that really encapsulates what makes the school different and unique and amazing. And so I talk about, Fire Run and how the school makes a massive bonfire and everyone wears bathing suits and like paints all over their bodies and runs in circles around the fire. And it sounds so crazy and tribal, but I think that the fact that like all the faculty are there as well, and it's such a community thing, like it's not just the students, it's everyone is a part of it, and that's incredible. And same with Mud Pit. I don't know, do you still do Mud Pit? And that's amazing, like that still happens. I mean, that you bring a tractor in and dig out a hole in the dirt and next to the quad and fill it with water, and it's just like orange and probably pretty like nasty to anyone else looking, and it's just really dirty water, but it's so much fun. And that the faculty are throwing students in and students throwing faculty and each other and everything. Like it's just it's incredible. Like I've never heard of another school that has those kinds of traditions and clue finding, and there's just, like I feel like there's so much you could say about VVS to try and explain it to people, but talking about those things just really sets it apart, and like I think that they kind of are the soul of VVS. For one, just enjoy every second. Yeah, so sometimes I like to imagine that I could just, like jump back into the middle of the experience and live it for one day. And how much I would appreciate it. I think something as well that when you're here, as when you're pretty much anywhere, it's pretty normal in human experience to have people that you're close to and people that you're not as close to. Wherever you are, you just form ties that are closer with some people. But I think here at VVS, what I've learned since I've left is that, you know, there's people who I've met up with or crossed paths with who I went to school with here at VVS and didn't get to know all that well at the time, or didn't consider one of my really close friends. And then since then I've found that they're you know, incredible people as well who I connect with really well. And so I think something I would tell myself if I could talk to myself before I ever came to VVS, and that I would also tell students, is just like make an effort to get outside of your immediate friend group and get to know everyone. And I mean, eventually you'll all have a really strong tie just because you were here together, but just, yeah, like make the most of it, like get to know every single person and what makes them unique and their story, what brought them here, because people have incredible stories here.
Visions